the left doesn't want to touch. Stephen A., subject to your approval or disapproval on this, they have a soft spot. Not that they like it, but they don't attack fundamentalism and extreme Islamism the way they do other types of rabid politics.
Well, number one, because some of the leaders within the Democratic Party embrace it. That's number one. When you think about, folks that supported, the pro-Palestinian movement, that wasn't an accident. When I certainly am not calling anybody anti-Semitic, but I will tell you they were certainly against Benjamin Netanyahu. Make no mistake about it. They were not a fan, and they made sure that was clear. Mamdani himself said he'd have him arrested the minute he arrived in New York if he could. So certainly you've heard stuff like that, that kind of strong rhetoric, and you have to take that into consideration
as well. None of them have said anything about what Hamas is doing in Palestine right now.
Which you pointed out immediately, the day they took them in the streets and they were murdering people they thought, helped the Israelis cause. They murdered them in the streets the minute, that the hostages were let go, the living hostages were let go. But there's another thing to consider here, and for you and Ben, that I'd ask you to just think about for a minute. It's also possible that they don't want to touch it because after Trump bombed, Iran, you understand, and their nuclear sites. And he went over there and was negotiating business deals in the Middle East, whether it be Qatar or anywhere else. The fact of the matter is that he comes across as somebody that I don't want to use the word embrace because that would be a bit strong, but one that's facilitating better relations with the Arab world than his predecessors. And because of that, the Democrats coming after him over that may be dicey in their eyes, and that might be a reason why they're a bit reluctant, dare I say, to go all in and to really engage in condemnation because they're fearful that it might backfire.
That is something that is going to be a unique concern for you in the midterms and beyond, right? As someone who is a strong presenter, not just of being Jewish, but of the Zionist cause, because who knew we were going to have to divide those issues in America? We talked about it once on the show before. I got a lot of clapback about it, where just because someone says they're Jewish doesn't mean that they understand or appreciate the Zionist movement and what it means in Israel. There are lots of different kinds of Jews, it turns out, Ben. But if the left stays open to this mentality of, hey, Israel's the bad guy. And
or Israel shouldn't exist.
Right. And the suffrage movement does suggest that we got to be open to Islamists. We got to be open. They're not all the same. I don't accept that position. But it does seem that people on the left are a lot more quiet about it than I am.
Yeah, well, that is certainly true. And again, if we're talking about like broad spectrum threats to Jews in the United States, obviously the acceptance of a belief system that makes room for radical Islam is going to be unacceptable to a lot of Jews in the United States, in the same way that I think, by the way, a lot of Jews in the United States are being put off by a sort of white nationalism that's emerging on the fringes of the Republican Party as well.
Yeah, the Democrats are going to have to work for their vote. Stephen A., so who do you believe is coming out better in this state of play of rage bait and distraction? Whom does it help more?
I think it always helps Trump more because I think he's more skilled at capitalizing off of it than the Democrats have been. What makes it interesting and most compelling in my mind is that come 2028, unless he pulls off circumventing the 22nd Amendment and running for a third term, he won't be the one running. It'll be JD Vance or Marco Rubio in all likelihood, and they're not Trump. I think that Marco Rubio is the adult in the room. I think he's a far better candidate in my mind than JD Vance, but I think JD Vance, being young and being willing to emulate some of the rhetoric that Trump and the behavioral tendencies that Trump throws out there, may indeed make him more attractive to their base than Marco Rubio. We shall see. But I think that whoever follows Trump is the one that's going to get endorsed by Trump, because I think Trump wants to remain in power even after he leaves office. And as a result, he will continue to play this game using social media and other tools to his advantage for the next few years. He will do it skillfully, and you're going to have to be somebody that can match that. And I've seen no one in the Democratic Party on a national scale that can pull off matching Trump at his own game. It cannot happen from anybody that I've seen.
We keep going this way. Both sides are going to want the same thing, which is an outsider. So the names may not be in the known universe right now, because if you really want someone to change the system, they can't be of the system. That's the conventional thinking. I don't agree with that either, but I don't agree with a lot of things, but I got to cover it as it stands. Ben Shapiro, always welcome. Great to have you. Stephen A., I love you. Thank you for being on the show, brother.
Same here.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.